Alrighty, hello, welcome back to Bald and Board Games. I'm Bald.
On board.
And we're going to give you a review of Doomlings, and after which we will give you a ranking of these three various expansions that Doomlings did send to us.
Yes, there's many more expansions in the Doomlings world. These three, Overlush, Legends of Enderas, and Imaginary Ends, are the three that were provided to us. So as Nick says, we'll give the ranking on those.
Yeah, we're not going to do a review for each individually because with a card game, they're really just expansions that get added into the deck. And right now, we don't really have a structure to review that kind of expansion, I would say. So it's kind of reviewing Doomlings as a whole, and then the expansions don't significantly change the game to where we would do Doomlings with expansions reviews to do each of them individually. So that's why we're going to do the ranking. We'll tell you what we like about each expansion, what we don't like about each expansion. But first, we're going to tell you what we like about Doomlings.
Yes, and first up in our normal structure is the storage of a Doomlings.
All right, so the storage that we have here is this right here. Very straightforward. Cards, we'll take some of these here. Go in. Excuse me. Just like so, like that. And then you can fill this up. There is extra space in here for probably about 2 expansions, would you say? Fit in there?
2 of that size box.
2 of that size expansion would fit in here. I think they have a big box if you really want to cram a bunch of stuff in. But yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. It is that. The cards stay very nice and neat, and storing them sideways keeps them from getting messed up on the edges or bent or folded. There's no tokens that are going to mess with them at all whatsoever. And then, then the rule book would go right on top. So something that I would have liked for a storage like this, especially because of how you're storing these cards, right? They store like this. You still have this extra, like just a little bit over a centimeter's worth of a gap between the top of the box in there, even with the rule book that's on there. I would have preferred if it came with dividers in some way to separate the age cards that we have as those go in, separate the catastrophe cards as those go in, and then as you get the expansions, you can see some of these have like trinkets and stuff, like these come with dividers, so you could put those in as well, so you can more easily access the base game and the expansions. That would have helped storage significantly more, and I am considering those dividers as part of the storage because they wouldn't have gameplay value, so I wouldn't put them in components or anything of that sort. So because of that, I do give storage a 4 out of 5.
All right. So for me, obviously as Nick mentioned, it's just a box. You put the cards in side by side. I pretty much agree with all your points. Yes, dividers would have been very helpful, specifically with if we had 3 expansions like we do. It was recommended to us to only play with 1 expansion at a time.
Yep.
So to be able to take all the expansion cards out, have them somewhere, and then play with the base game, and then be able to easily swap to the next expansion is not really feasible with this box structure, without dividers or anything else.
Yep.
And obviously you don't want to be carrying a bunch of mini boxes around with all the expansions separately, because that just takes up a bunch of space.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wish either this box was built only for the base game. So if you look at like Cards Against Humanity style, they build their main box for the base game. And then if you buy expansions, you can get a larger box to fit those expansions in, but the box fits the game. Because if you take this box and only put in the base cards with 0 expansion content, it does not fill this box.
That's like half full.
Yeah, so they're all like laying on their side. And then they're sliding around if you have them on a shelf. It's really not built for just buying the base game. They're assuming you're going to buy a bunch of expansions. But then if you buy too many expansions, you don't have room for them all. Right. Which is the case for us. We only fit 2 of the 3 in the box. The other ones have to send a separate box.
This didn't come with a foam piece, right?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah.
So for me, I agree. They could have done this better. I gave it a 3.5.
Okay. All right. So next up, we have the rule book.
Yes.
What do you think about the rule book?
So for
including the what is it? Play rates.
Yeah. So for the rule book, there's the base rule book. There is a base player aid that goes over some stuff, which I'll talk about in a second. Each expansion also has its rule book. I'll bring them up as we talk about the rule book. They don't change my score at all. So the main rule book here is just this. Front and back, goes over all the steps. Very easy. Again, it's a card game. It's not that complicated. So it goes through, basic setup. Boom, 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 boom. Has some pictures, which are really nice. It shows you how to set up the Ages deck so you're doing it correctly. Goes over gameplay and how to do your turns. When you get a catastrophe card, very clearly says A, B, C. This is what happens. Goes over some of the other things. We talked about this actually in our gameplay with if someone's colorblind. It actually has symbology behind each number here, but each color scheme. So you can actually see what colors you have. And then on the back, it just gives you some help with the different effects. So if you have an effect on your card, you're like, ooh, what does that mean? Or what does this symbol mean? It's easily on the back. You can just store this on the table and have access to that. On top of that, those same things are on the player aid. Turn structure, what happens with the catastrophe, how to score points. Here's a bunch of symbols and what they mean, as well as a few other things just that are good information. So overall, I love the rulebook. Again, simple game to play. It shouldn't be over wordy, and it's not. And just calling these out, for each expansion, they add in a separate card for each type of thing. So for this expansion, which is the Legends of Enderas, there are 4 different new types of cards that are going in. It tells you the name, gives you the symbol in which it represents, like on the card, which you'll see in gameplay, and then it talks about exactly what happens. If there's other information you need, so like treasures, there's a treasures card here. Oh, it's over here. Yep. Yep. So there's a treasure card here. It shows you that, and it gives you the rules. So they did it very well to incorporate other stuff where you're like, okay, here's just an additional card, and it tells you what happens. So I give Rulebook, to be honest, a 5.
All right.
Super colorful, too, which I like.
Yeah.
Which matches the theme of the game.
Yeah, so something that Doomlings did really well is definitely the reference cards. The reference cards cover exactly what you need. I like that they're in borders, so that way you can easily see the different sections that are there and what they pertain to. A lot of reference cards just have it listed all the way out, all the way through. I'm a big fan of borders on cards to keep information in its own segment to make sure it's not just floating around, so that is great. Of course, as you called out, having those for each of the expansions. You only ever use recommended 1 expansion at a time with the base game, so it's very easy just to have, okay, here's the new rules, and here's your reference card for when you get things. Super, super easy to remember. For the book here, exactly, very, very quick, very easy to understand, lays it out in an order that makes sense. Again, bordered for the section, so if you're going to look back, like, oh shit, how does Endgame work? World's End, right there. What's scoring? Boom. What a catastrophe is, right there. Like, it's very easy to find the section that you need. Now, I do have an issue with the way that this is done. On just this, now it's folding, because eventually, that's going to tear. And this is going to be useless. We've seen this beforehand. Huh?
That's why you have a QR code.
Still. We've seen this before in games like Exploding Kittens, where these things tear. So you already have these things sectioned out like this. Just make this a book that's like this, that has simple pages you can open up to look to. That'll keep it from tearing. It'll make it feel a little bit more deluxe. It'll still fit in the game box like you want it to. Literally everything can stay the same, but the longevity of this game, for the type of game it is, that'll come out a lot at parties especially, will ensure that this doesn't rip. So because of that, I did give the rulebook a 4 out of 5. Just different types?
No, just cards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So next up, we go into our design category. Talks about the design of the cards, everything. It's just cards.
Yeah.
Just to call out before you give your grade. So on this table view, the dead center, this is the base components for the base game. It is with Overlush in there. So the Overlush expansion is in this stack. The other 2 expansions are separate over here. So if we talk about this side or that side, it'd be the expansion content.
Yep. All right. So starting off with the way things are made out of, before we get into the look of everything, how it works. So for the cards, they do have a nice thickness to them, so they're a good grade, and they do have a nice linen finish to them. So I'm in no way worried about these cards getting dinged up beyond normal wear and tear from playing with them a lot over time. That will happen, like you do see on one right here. The top is a little dinged up, but again, that's just from probably reckless shuffling, and that's going to happen normally. So if you really don't want these cards to get dinged up at all, the only way to protect a card that's high quality like this is to sleeve it. You can't really get much higher quality than these cards. to avoid the digging up. I think a standard poker card is a bit higher, like 1 level up, because it's used so much, so that's how you could. But that probably would raise the cost much more, so I'm not going to ding it for that instance. Because, again, I would be a sleever if I had this and we're playing it a lot. Now, for the backside of the cards, design-wise, I like that everything is very clear. Nothing is so similar to where you don't know what deck it belongs to. Ages, traits, treasures, trinkets, all of those things are very specific on what they are, so it's easy to make sure you're not mixing things up. For the ages, we have Catastrophes here. So design on the bottom, you have the main thing that happens, and then you have at World's End right here in yellow in a different color. It says Catastrophe at the top as well. For the regular ages, it's similar. You have the title and the effects at the bottom there. No yellow effect. Doesn't say Catastrophe at the top. So that does help delineate. Delineate.
Delineate.
Delineate.
No, delineate.
Delineate. Jeez, I'm adding extra syllables in there. Helps delineate the two, separate them from each other. What I do wish was a little bit different is I do wish that the Catastrophe had a specific border around it of some sort to make it stand out a little bit more, make it a little bit more clear it's a Catastrophe, because it could easily be missed potentially when you flip it over real quick in game. This helps a lot, but it just adds that other visual element to really make it pop as like, okay, here's one of those things.
It'd be easier on the storage side too.
Exactly.
Like, oh, here's all the border cards. Here's the non-border cards.
Right. That'd mainly be for sorting it out, because you have to sort out the Catastrophe from the ages before you divvy them out. We have trinkets and stuff. So some of these are holofoil, which are a lot of fun. I think the trinkets were cool. They sit in their own decks, so the borders and the massive look doesn't change anything. I'm not going to ding the design based on any of the expansion content. I just kind of want to show you. Why are these all upside down? It's annoying. So with these, like again, they show very clearly different sections in here. The artwork's a lot of fun. So just wanted to kind of show you that. The treasure, same thing that they have for one of them. The other thing I don't like about the treasure, again, not knocking it because we're grading really the base game, but this text can be hard to read. Not a fan of that big block of text. I would prefer the artwork to be bigger, and then maybe these abilities to be in like a different section. I like flavor text, but that's a lot of flavor text. To the point when we were playing, we're like, yeah, we're not reading that. We want to just get going and keep playing. Again, that's not going to factor into my score. I just want to go over that with you guys. So for the traits, the main thing you're going to be seeing most of the game, we have all these fun little guys. So I love that these are all different colored borders. Do we have a multi?
Yeah.
Grab that. Nice. Boom. So I like that the colors are different. It stands out. It's great. The designs are also different as well on them, which is good. That helps those who are colorblind. I enjoy that the number on the bottom, which is one of the most important things, the big element there, clearly see, minus, positive. The artwork is a lot of fun. The effects are all very varied and different.
Very.
Yeah. The special ones, you can clearly tell are special because of the big star. So I like everything about that aspect of this. What I don't particularly enjoy, and I think was a shortcoming of the design, is when it comes to some of the symbols that are on here. So the little symbols that denote endgame scoring, one, like that's helpful, little small. The effect says that it does that. It does help you find it faster, which is okay. But there's some that have like a gear symbol or something else down here that occasionally is very hard to see. So luckily, the verbiage on the card is very clear. That's probably one of the best part about these cards. The verbiage is super clear to where you don't actually even need this symbol to know that it is that type of card, because it literally says attach, do this, do that. So the symbolism is kind of like a second hand, like, okay, it's there to help you out. But some of it is a little confusing, and some of it makes you kind of second guess what it's for. So it almost takes away from the gameplay value a little bit. So like right here, you have this symbol and you have the gear symbol. So this one here, sparkly, amazing. But it's like, okay, what does that mean again? That's part of one of the expansions. The gear symbol here, hard to see, also isn't needed because this just means you can attach it, which it says right there. So having that plus this can create confusion. It almost would be better if it just said attach and then you just had what attach means in the rule book. So because of that aspect, also I'm not sure if they're trying to do with the design behind the different colors to try and make this more colorblind friendly. But again, if you're gonna do that, you need to really do it. It's a little too subtle to do anything. Like it all kind of just mishmashes and looks very similar. So I don't think that the design in the back of this did anything. The design on the outside of the card, I think, is what really helps things stand out a bit. But even like here though, like it's you may think that this is a different color than that potentially, even though the design is essentially the same. So for design, I did give it a 4.5. I knocked it slightly due to the symbolism used that maybe wasn't needed for this. Oh, also, this is what I want to call out. Also, some of the text is white on white background. You lose it as you're trying to read it. So there also wasn't a drop shadow or thought. It seems like they went into, hey, how do we make sure that these are all as clear as possible? That was another reason why I knocked it, is because little things like this where it seems like there wasn't any kind of forethought into, oh crap, we can't read that. So 4.5 out of 5.
All right. So for me, I'll start with this card here. He didn't bring it up. It doesn't matter.
I did not bring it
That's
up.
fine. This is your life pool. We'll talk about that in gameplay in a moment. But very clear. I like how it's not like, oh, you have like a line and you're moving a token or something to be like, here's my life pool. It's just this card and you just rotate it.
Yep.
So I like how they designed this. 5, 6, 7, 8 on one side, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the other. The artwork does not need to be fancy on this card. I like that it's super simple. So you can clearly see the number, and anyone at the table is like, okay, boom, that's what his number's at.
I agree.
So that's great. I'll come back to the trade cards on the table in a second. To the backs of the cards, to Nick's point, very clear. Says Doomlings on it, says in big bold print, this is the card type. Ages, treasures, traits, and anything else, trinkets, etc.
Yep.
So love the back. Again, the artwork is very simplistic, and I like that. Treasures, because it's a special card, these are not mixed into the deck. This is a whole separate deck, so I do like that this is, oh, fancy, there's a bunch of gems and things. That's cool. But everything else where it's just a card you're grabbing, you're not like overwhelmed with a bunch of artwork on the back of the card. It's just like, boom, there's a basic card. For the ones in the center here, a few things from my side, and I'm not the art guy. So
That's true.
I do like the bottom corner. Very clearly says, okay, this is positive 2 points, this is negative 4, this is a question mark. This, and it tells you in the book, if you do the rules, oh, that means that you have to read this and it could change the number based on whatever this effect is.
Yeah.
Really good. The word dominant on top and having the extra border, that's with the star. Very clear that shows, okay, this is a dominant card, it's different than the rest of the cards. So the rest have a white border, this has a gold border. Yep. So I do like that differentiation. To Nick's point about the symbols, so if we look at these 4 cards here, those 4 cards are from the Overlush expansion. Oh no, Imaginary Ends are actually is in here. Oh, we grabbed separate, whatever.
Yeah.
So this is from the Imaginary Ends expansion. As you can see, this symbol here shows that it is one of the subsets of the expansion. So if we grab Imaginary Ends, right here, this is a Deepling, and it tells you what it has. So I love on the upper right-hand corner, I can easily see what type of Doomling character this is, and if it impacts one of these cards. So it is very creative that they put a symbol there, not just somewhere else on the card, or wrote Imaginary Ends in the corner. It's very clear there. What I wish they did was on this side of the card, they put all of these symbols in a circle. Mm-hmm. So then I can hold my card on the left-hand side, I'm like, okay, here's all of the symbols that impact the effect, the score, actions, anything about the card's abilities, and on the right hand is any card typing, similar to these different expansions.
Yeah, and even like this little end game score, they could have put in this bottom corner to like balance out.
Yeah. So I wish that they just organized things better. I understand like A for action is underneath the action, but in most cases, there is some cards where you'll have like one thing and then an action underneath. So okay, the A is fine, but there's a lot of symbols like the gears, and we'll bring this card back out.
Yep.
Where you have 2 symbols. Both of these could easily be right here in a circle. To be like, okay, gear symbol means attach. Read what's on the attached side. This symbol means it's going to impact discarding. Put that over here. Okay, I know that the effect's saying discarding. I don't need it next to the effect. Put the symbols off to the side.
Yeah.
So that was one thing that kind of could have been done a little bit better. For the text, obviously you have different color backgrounds here. They have a little flavor text up here that's small that just kind of gives like a fun thing about each character, which I kind of like. Some there are very small, so you kind of got to like zoom in a little bit to see it. And then you have the main effects, which are significantly larger and usually more clear. What else? I don't mind the word colors being in color. I was just thinking for colorblind people, you already like did other things, but then you wrote the word colors in color, different colors, but that's fine. This just means that gray is colorless, but that's also in the rule book. The last thing that I don't like is the expansion and how it's laid on these cards. So in the bottom corner, and you cannot see this on screen, and this is the problem, it says imaginary ends. So for these 4 cards, it says imaginary ends. These 4, it says nothing, because those aren't expansions. For this one, it says Legends of Enderas, very small on the bottom of the card. And then on the side of the card, it gives you some information. The side of the card information is fine. That's like on a Pokemon card, it'll be like, this is number 4 out of 70 in this set. Cool, that's fine. But tell me the set name larger and more clearly. All of these are written in white. It is very hard to see white on a light blue and white background.
Yep.
So, again, to the point back from storage and whatnot, if I'm trying to pull these cards out and separate them quickly, it is very difficult to do it for some of them that don't have easy symbology to see. When you have super small text and it's almost the same color as the card. So for that, I gave design a 4. The artwork on the cards is really cool, though. A lot of the what these Doomling characters look like and how each of them are a little different was phenomenal.
Yeah. All right. So next up we have, and finally we have, gameplay.
All right. 30-second overview of gameplay.
Done.
So, you have your life card, gene pool.
Yep.
This is telling you 2 things. Your hand size, and which is
min
and max, not min and max at the end of your turn. So for right now, I have a 5. So I can have 5 cards at the end of my turn. If you draw a card to the middle of your turn, you don't have to discard until the end. It is not a life pool, though. I was about to say it is, but it's not. That's a different game. So it's just your hand size. So, but again, very clearly established on this card. So the way this game works is you have an age card. Age card comes out, gives you some information. It'll tell you if there's any effect that impacts your play that round. Then, first player, let's say it's me, plays a trait card out of my hand. So I would look and be like, okay, cool. I want to play Euphoric. That's hilarious. I got that card. So Euphoric. It says I get -1 point. It then tells me my effect. So if I have 4 or more purple cards at the end of the game, I will get a bonus 6 points. So this becomes a 5 pretty much. And then you build out your trait pile. So you go round and round. As soon as a round ends, you grab a new age card. And you read its effect. So this says draw a card, discard a card. Then eventually you're going to get catastrophes that negatively impact you. Once you have the 3rd catastrophe drawn, that ends the game automatically. If you have any cards that impact at world end, you would activate them, and then you grade your score. Whoever has the highest score wins. It's that simple. So we played Parlay, the betting game. Also was very simple. So another card game, very simple to play.
Very fun.
This one, similar to Parlay, very much built as a party game. Get a bunch of friends together, have some drinks, have some snacks, and just kind of screw around. You get to read the fun flavor text and do different effects. It's that simple. It's not super serious. You don't need to strategize too much. There is some strategy, obviously, but it's not like you're brain draining for hours. It takes also about 20 to 40 minutes, depending on how many players you have.
Yeah, not bad at all.
So my thoughts on gameplay. Thoroughly enjoy the game.
Yeah.
Cards Against Humanity to me is something I would relate to this and that type of style of the group I would get together to play this. I would pick this over Cards Against Humanity.
Oh, for sure.
Cards Against Humanity to me, it gets to a point where it's kind of dull. It's the same cards over and over again, and
well, it also depends who you're playing with.
True.
And you know someone's like sense of humor better.
Yeah, emotions and everything.
Emotions. And everything.
Someone gets offended.
Yeah, your kryptonite. Emotion.
Yeah. Where this is just super fun, and even if, let's say, you're not winning, it's still a lot of fun to be like, oh, I got this really cool card I can play down and screw someone else. Where like Cards Against Humanity, if I have 1 and Nick has 7, I'm like, I'm not catching up, and then I just get bummed out. Where this, it's like, it's still fun, it's still super cool. Yep. And again, you know when the end of the game is, and then you reshuffle, start from 0, and go again. So thoroughly enjoy what they did here. Super colorful, which makes it more, in my opinion, more entertaining and more kind of a good vibe with a party atmosphere.
Yeah.
Versus just a dull, like, black and white card. So the main base game, thoroughly enjoy. I like the variety of the age cards and the catastrophes. It's impacting your hand size. It impacts what color cards you can play. It impacts potentially what your opponent can do. There was one where I had to pick a color, and then my opponent couldn't play that color. So that adds some fun things if you see them going for a certain color scheme. So thoroughly enjoy how they built this out and how they structure the deck. I wish, and there might be a version of this variant where it's like, hey, instead of doing 3 of these age cards and 1 catastrophe, do 4 in 1 or 5 and 2 to make it a little bit longer.
That'd just be a house rule.
You can probably house rule it, which, yeah, no problem to do that. Again, it's super simple to make those adjustments. Just calling out the expansion, I do like how easy it is to add the expansions, other than knowing what expansion is what based on separating them. If they're already separate, you literally just be like, okay, here's all the trait cards, boom. Here's all the age cards, here's the catastrophes, here's the normal age cards, shuffle them in, and you've done it. I do like.
You've done it.
I like how you also have some other fun things in the expansions. Again, to our point, we're not doing it as part of grading, but I do like having these other fun little things to be able to change up the game. And I will add this, because this is not truly the expansion this way. You can buy a bunch of booster packs.
Yeah.
So if you're someone who's like, hey, I've played this 10 times with my friends, we kind of know what the cards are, and we only have the base game. Okay, I can go out and pay $20 for some booster packs, and now we have a bunch of new cards. And again, you just toss them right in, which is pretty much what the Overlush expansion is a bunch of booster packs.
Exactly.
That doesn't have any special things like trinkets or treasures. So to me, I thoroughly would consider bringing this out with 2 to 6 players.
Yep.
It definitely plays significantly better with 5 or 6 players. That's just how the vibe of a card game like this would work. 2 players, you can do it, but it's just like, it's cool, whatever.
In this, the more chaos, the better.
Exactly. So I'm not putting that against the grade at all, because that's literally how a game like this should work, is the more players, the better.
Yeah.
So I'm giving gameplay for the base game of Doomlings a 5.
All right.
This might be one of my favorite card games.
Okay. That's say something big. You took over Muffin Time.
To your point the other day, though, Muffin Time is very much more about who you're playing with and if they understand it. This, you don't really need to understand every card going in. Muffin Time, you kind of want to memorize all the cards to know what can happen.
Yeah.
This is just like, hey, cool, let's play.
Okay, so gameplay-wise, so first I'll do a 30-second, I'm kidding. I like the way that the Ages deck is set up a lot. I like that situation of the 3, the 1 catastrophe shuffle, so you don't really know when the catastrophe is going to be. You just know it's one of these 4 cards is a catastrophe. It could be the very first age that you will, technically second, age that you pull in the game and just throw you off. Or in like some of our games, if you go watch the playthrough we did, you'll find, I think, 2 of the games, or at least one of them, the first card of the last stack was a catastrophe. Like, damn. Like, multiple of us like, had a plan going, like, okay, I'm going to do this and that and take it, and then get, boom, murdered. So that unpredictability is a lot of fun. I like that a lot. For the cards, I like that they are so varied that you really kind of have to play based on what you have in your hand and what you've started to do. And like, okay, I'm going to go this route, and then somebody may screw that up by taking the card that was a linchpin in your process or in your plan, and then you have to adjust. And like, okay, well, that thing is gone, so now I got to do this, which I had to do one time as well. So that's
trader hands.
Yeah. So that is a fun randomness that is here. I like the gene pool, which that's why I didn't mention it, I put it in here. I like the gene pool aspect of this going up or down. Essentially, your genes are getting stronger, so you have more potential as the game progresses. It means your hand size gets bigger and bigger to allow you to do more and more. I think that is a very smart, fun aspect to include. So I'm not going to belabor the point really much longer. You kind of covered a lot, which is good. I like that there's a lot of interaction, taking, stealing, or just your cards purely dictating their value based on other players' cards, or vice versa. You at the end get I had a card a couple times where I get to dictate, what type of card lost them points. So they could have been going heavy on red. Like, yeah, I got all these points, and I'm like, I have that one card at the end of the game. I go, yeah, well, there's 1 point for every red card you have, and that's fun. That's great. The one bit of randomness that I don't like, and it's hard to avoid in a game like this to a degree. So the bit of randomness that you can't really avoid in this, that I think is okay because of the type of card game it is of course the cards you draw.
Oh,
that's part of the game. So that's fine. The one that I don't particularly like is the power jump in the dominance. There's some dominance like this one has a 2. It says swap up the 2 positive face value traits from your trait pile with any traits from any trait pile. So that's great, potentially depending on when you get this, when you can play it. Could be helpful. It's a 2. There's some other dominants where they start off at 17, you lose based on how many cards you have, or they just have 10 points. Like there's one that you guys got where just the 10 pointer is like, well, shit. Like I can't take it. I can't make you get rid of it. Now you're just permanently ahead. So that is a randomness or a gameplay design that I don't like, that feels unbalanced. That if you're going to have something that is that powerful at the 10, it needs to have a weakness.
It does. You have to pay 5 to use it.
Yeah, but that's just after you put it down, it needs to have a weakness.
True, but you're paying 5 off of your trait pile. So you're taking 5 points away to put a 10 down.
But if you get it near the beginning, that doesn't hurt you at all. If you get it near the end, that's where it could hurt you. So it doesn't hurt you because then you just have 5 negatives, and then you take those 5 out, you put down that big guy, and you netted 15 potentially technically.
Wait, no, not 5 negatives, 5 value.
Or I had to have 5 positive values.
So you have to remove 5 positive value to put a 10. So you only get 5 points
either way,
overall.
That's still a huge jump with just a 2. My point.
Yeah.
Is like removing 5 cards from there, with as long as the game does go currently, and from playing it and you guys both getting it, it massively tilted it in your direction. Both of you who had it each time won.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing, is there shouldn't be a card that's that powerful. And if there is, it needs to have a weakness after it's out, to where there's a potential risk of having it out there. So like for instance, the one that I do like was the one that was like 17. And it subtracted 1 from that 17 for every card that you put out. And you have to play a card every single turn.
Yeah.
So that little bit, takes away a little bit from this, because when I saw the card come out again, I'm like, well, shit. I got in the moment like, well, it's a Cards Against Humanity situation. Well, now to win, like I need to have some killer card, and now I'm at subject of the complete randomness of this now. If a killer card comes out, that can do anything. So
I will say one clarification point on that though. The Titanic card is in the Legends of Enderas expansion only.
Yeah, but that's why I looked through here. There's a couple in here that are...
There is some powerful ones. Like that specific card, which seems to be the most powerful, is in one of the expansions.
Correct. But in here, that's why I went through and looked to make sure before I made the point. There's some in here that are like 6s or 8s, heavily above this too. So for this to be a dominant and that to be a dominant, it just feels not weighted properly. But that was the only issue that I had with gameplay. It is a lot of fun. I do love playing this. I think this would be fun definitely to bring out and play again and again. We'll go over which of the expansions we would include more likely than the others. But for the base game, for gameplay, I give this a 4.5 out of 5. Okay. So now we're going to go over, before we talk about the expansions that we like and why, we're going to go over our final scores for Doomlings as the base game. And you'll find out if Doomlings is you can probably guess it right now based on what we're giving, but if it's a perfect.
Oh, by the way, okay.
A must play, a just okay, or a don't play. Now, to get those scores, we'll tell you, based on the one that it gets, what it would have had to have gotten to get that score. Pretty straightforward. But as a reminder, in case this is your first review video, we do score these on a weighted system. So storage, rulebook, and design are all weighted at 20%, and gameplay is weighted at 40%, because that's what matters ultimately more than those other areas. To us and to a lot of gamers. If it doesn't to you, then take what you will.
Yep, and we always round down. So if I give a 4 and Nick gave a 4.5, it always rounds down to make it the fair as possible. So one player can't be like, oh, I thought it was better, so we're going to put in my score.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't meet that further half or whole. Alrighty, folks. Starting off, that's no bug me.
All right. So storage. So our first category was storage. Ball gave this a 4. I gave this a 3.5. That's the exact scenario. So we hold it at a 3.5 for Ball and Board Games for storage.
Yep.
Again, the main thing is it's just a box. It doesn't hold the cards overly well if you're adding cards or you don't have enough cards to fill the box. So it holds the cards, but it's not great.
Yep. And next up is the Rulebook. I gave it a 4. Bald gave it a 5. So we meet in the middle at 4.5. Ultimately, the references, the Rulebook, are perfect. They are clear, to the point. Nothing is confusing in them. The one caveat was my caveat, and that is what the actual rule pamphlet is made out of, and the worry that this is a game designed to come out over time a lot, and that pamphlet's going to slowly get more worn and eventually tear.
Next up, design. Ball gave this a 4.5. I gave this a 4. Bald and Board Games holds it at that 4 mark. Again, the card's really cool. A lot of fun artwork went into a lot of the symbols and the characters. It's just the text, mostly. So the symbols and the text aren't overly clear on all the cards because there's so many different color schemes going on that could have been done better. So we held it at a 4.
We did. All right, and then we have gameplay. This one's weighted heavier than the rest. I give it a 4.5. Board give it a 5. So it holds at a 4.5. Gameplay, again, virtually perfect. The one caveat was that instance of randomness that can ruin the game for somebody. Meaning just the dominants that are a little bit too powerful and they feel a little bit out of balance from everything else. In the base and the expansions, obviously.
All right. So then we have our summed up score. So all 4 categories with the weighted system together. So as board, I give Doomlings, just the base game. We'll talk about the expansion in a minute. So Doomlings, the base game, a 4.5 out of 5. Again, this is one of my favorite games. We played it at Gen Con thoroughly, or we got the cards at Gen Con.
Yeah.
Played it recently, and a few other times I played it off stream. Thoroughly enjoyed it every time. It was always fun. Each group plays a little differently. So it's a game I'll keep bringing back to the table.
Yeah. All right, and my final score for Doomlings, the base game, is a 4. So, again, love everything about it, especially the creativity that's gone into this for all the different effects, for all the different creatures, how colorful it is, how fun it is to play, the variety of each play that you end up getting it's just fun. I mean, that's pretty much just sums this game up. It is a lot of fun. The caveats that held it back from a 4.5 and 5 for me were those little minor things that can ruin a game that you plan on keeping because it's fun for a long time. All right.
So, overall, Bald and Board Games combined score for Doomlings, the base game, is a 4 out of 5.
And that does make Doomlings officially a Bald and Board Games must-play. So to get a must-play score, you need to get a 4 or a 4.5 to hit that. And that's not as easy as it sounds now that we've updated our ranking system over the past couple ones that we've done compared to our earlier ones. So kudos to Doomlings for hitting that mark at a 4. It is very, very well deserved. Very well thought out game, very well designed game, and a very, very fun game. I can say this for myself. I like Muffin Time, but after about 1 or 2 games of Muffin Time, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm good. I'm done. But Doomlings, honestly, we could have this out at like a hangout and just keep playing over and over and over and over again.
Yeah. So also with this video, if you check the links below, we will post the expansion URL. So if you're interested in this game and the expansions, you'll have Doomling's website right there. But we will go over now each expansion, just rank the 3 for each of us on how we like each one. So you can
and
go
we'll give a little lowdown too on what each expansion does. We didn't really talk about exactly what they include. We mentioned kind of like the little.
Do you want to go over each one and say what it does and give our individual out of 5 score, just overall, boom, out of 5?
Yeah.
All right.
So first of all, thank you again to Doomlings for sending us the expansions, for reaching out to us to have us show these off to you. This is not a paid review by any way, other than that they gave us their expansions. So starting with Overlush. Overlush is very simple. Overlush just adds new variety of cards to the base game. That is really it. It doesn't add any new rules. It doesn't add any new enemy types. Nothing. It just throws in some more fun cards for you. So we want to give it like where we would rank the individual one.
I would say a score out of 5, and then we'll just go through the rank afterwards. Boom, boom, boom.
Sounds good. I mean, I think for Overlush, I have to line it up with my score for Doomlings because it's virtually the same. I think it gets a 4 out of 5 for me. It incorporates a lot of fun, different types of enemies. It just adds more variety to the main game, but it doesn't quite push past that very basic addition, which some of the other ones do. So it kind of just hangs back. I got to give it at least at minimum for myself that same score as Doomlings.
All right. So for me, let me just find one more card right there. So for Overlush, it does just hop right into the just hops in for you, right into the main game. So it's perfect. So in my opinion, even though Doomlings told us, hey, only use one expansion at a time, in my opinion, Overlush does not play like an expansion.
Yeah,
like the others. It's just add-ons, so you can just add it in regardless.
Yep.
What I thoroughly like though is the effects are a little bit higher than the base. You know, there we go, is the word. I was like higher, elevated than the others. So just looking at 3 of the cards here, you have Shady. Draw 3 cards, play 1 card from your hand into an opponent's trait pile. No dominance, ignore the action. So it allows you to go at an opponent's pile and put a card down. Bitter Berries, +1 for each purple or green trait in your trait pile, whatever's the lowest. And then there's other versions of this berry card for the other color schemes.
Yep.
So this says tropical fruits, 3 out of 4. So there's 3 other ones, 1, 2, and 4, that'll do the same thing, but in other ways. So I personally am going to put this higher. I'm going to put it equal my gameplay. I think this is a 5 out of 5. Nice. I think they took the expansion and just elevated a step up a notch to add more combativeness, more variability into the game.
Say?
I don't remember.
Like the separation of the two, I can remember.
Yeah, I don't.
Sometimes words fail.
But yeah, so I thoroughly love this expansion.
Nice. All right.
So next up, Legends of Enderas. So Legends of Enderas, similar to the other expansions, adds in a new stack of trait cards, adds in some new Catastrophes and Age cards as well. This also comes with the stack of new types of, I was about to say Mifflings.
Nope.
There's where Mifflings is.
Yeah.
New stack of Lings, Doomlings character sets, so they're all Lings.
We've been playing Dragon Eclipse, so Mistling is on top of mine.
Well, I kept saying Miffling yesterday, I was wondering why, but there it is. So this is not only just adding new cards in, but the cards have new types. And we showed that a little bit in our gameplay review and the components.
Yep.
It also adds treasures in. So each player gets a treasure card, and you can do different things with the treasures. So some of them just allow you to draw cards, some allow you to do different things, and it's all explained on this little treasure card. For me, it seems almost as either the treasures are too powerful in some of them or not powerful enough. So some of these, and you can just go through the list here, allow you to play 2 cards instead of 1 if you get that treasure. Others allow you to cloak and prevent an opponent from doing something, where some of them just allow you to draw 1 card or draw 2 cards. And it's like that unbalanced 6 point doesn't make it fun after a while. Because if I have 2 cards where one is draw 1 and one is block an opponent, and then my opponent doesn't play anything that matches that requirement to block, well, now I have 2 useless cards and I can't get a new treasure until I use one of my treasures.
Yep.
So overall, this is one of the expansions I wouldn't necessarily prefer to put into the game. Some of the cards are kind of cool in what they do, but in terms of the treasure aspect, I would rather just add the cards in and not the treasures. Because the cards say nothing about the treasures. It's just a separate part of this add-on. So I'm going to give Legends of Enderas a 3.
Okay. So Legend of Enderas, so it has a lot of the same things I love in the trade pool, right? But this is where you get the big jump in, you know what, actually let me find that one.
Yeah.
No, you're fine.
Talk other stuff.
It's all good. So I'm going to find,
It should be gray.
It's a colorless, yeah. Colorless. Steam power, nope, not in you. Probably gonna be on the top of the damn deck.
Oh, also, that was the one that might be in here by accident because...
Oh, I didn't see it in there earlier when I went through. There it is. I got it.
Yep.
It was on top. Of
Hilarious.
course, it goes the whole deck. Right. Yeah. So to play Titanic, it says to play you must discard a total face value of 5 or higher from your trait pile using any number of cards. So it's not even discarding 5 cards. It's just
I said value 5.
I thought you missed. So yeah, so that makes it even worse. It's like literally you can get rid of 1 card that's 5 to put that down, and its power is 10. So that is the heavy out of balance thing I hate. Honestly, this card's great if you have it, but if you don't have it, the game immediately sucks for you. So that is the only caveat with the traits I don't like with that one is the cards like that. I don't know if there's any more in there like that, but specifically that one. And then I have the same issue with the treasures. The treasures is a fun idea, but ultimately it adds more complication and a little bit of frustration to the game than it does fun, which is never good. So the times when you get a good treasure, that's great. It's awesome. Like you can use it, you can do one of these 2 things, potentially combo. A lot of fun. But there's some where it's like, okay, I'm not going to use this. I don't need this. It just feels like dead weight and kind of locks you up and just kind of makes this thing overly complicated. And honestly, the game is more fun without the treasures. So just to get to the point real quick, I gave Legend of Enderas a 3 out of 5 as well for those 2 reasons. So that's a just okay. So it's not a must play for Legend of Enderas. It's okay. If you want to try it out, give it a shot. All right, so now we have Imaginary Ends. Imaginary Ends from the start. This is, I think, my favorite expansion of these 3. So you have the trait pile being added to it, similar to the Overlush and Legend of Enderas, but they correct the issue that they had with Legend of Enderas with their 10 dominant cards. So this one here, the Stygian. So at the world's end, you can choose a color, suppress all traits of that color in your trait pile. Okay, which will give you points. But
1 point each. So if you have a bunch of negatives, you can make them all 1.
And you can only choose 1 color.
Mm-hmm.
But this gets -2 for each color in your trait pile. So immediately, like depending on when you get this, it'll make this weaker, and then you have to try and suppress those cards to bring it back up. So that's what I mean by a weakness after the fact.
So it's a minimum of a 4, could be higher.
And this is probably, I think this is the same one that had the big one in here too, the 17er. I forget what.
No, that's in the base.
Oh, it's in the base one? Okay. But so that's what I mean by the weakness. Like that is perfect. I love that. So that immediately clears up my issue with the dominants that have a high trait value. Love it. I love the trinkets that are included here. So with Imaginary Ends, the main thing it includes besides trades and ages is it includes trinkets, and then some of those ages are merchants, which allow you to exchange your trinkets if you get stuck with one that seems like it's going to be a little too difficult to accomplish, which is amazing. Because if you couldn't do that with the merchants, then that would have significantly dragged this down, because you could have gotten randomly stuck with 2 random trinkets, had to pick one, and hope that you're able to complete it.
Yeah.
Where now, if it's not going your way, you have a chance 6 times, because there's 2 of these guys in each.
Up to 6.
Up to 6, potentially, times to exchange if need be, or to get, a new one. And the trinkets, they do 2 things for you. They give you an awesome power, which sometimes is awesome, sometimes isn't, while it's face up, and then you have an objective. So for instance, the party mask here says you have to find a way to discard 1 blue or purple from your hand, which you can't do by yourself. An effect has to make you do it. I almost did that. An effect has to make you do it.
He's just like, ooh, this red, I don't want that. I'm just
and they vary. So the ones that give you points when you complete them. So you turn it face down, complete it, and gain points. And they're scaled perfectly. The ones that are stupidly easy to do, worth 1 point. And they go up, I think, to like 5 points is the highest one, which was one of the ones that I ended up getting. And it took me the entire time to do it, but because I was able to do it at like the last second, it won me the game in that game. Yeah. So this trinkets and the way they designed it with the merchants, phenomenal. It adds that extra layer to this that makes it even more fun. So Imaginary Ends for me gets a 5.
All right. Imaginary Ends for me. So I do agree. The trinkets, phenomenal. It adds, especially in our play style, that fun, like, side quest vibe. Like, oh, okay, I'm playing the game as normal, but also I have this fun side quest going on over here. So I thoroughly enjoy that, where, okay, I have a challenge, but also, until I complete that challenge, I have potentially this thing holding me back. Like there was one where I had to have all 4 colors in my hand, but I couldn't play colorless cards.
Yep.
So if I had colorless in my hand, I literally couldn't play them to get rid of them. So I had to play colors, and now I'm still trying to collect colors. So it adds that fun variety. It does give a little bit of the randomness issue, though.
Yep.
Because if I got dealt 3 colorless and 2 colors, it makes it extremely difficult to complete that task.
Yep.
Yes, there is a minimum of 4, up to 6 times where I can swap that out based on the merchants. But there is still some scenarios where maybe the one you got after you swapped it out still isn't that good. And
It's
still,
worse.
It could be. I think there was a scenario where I got rid of one and I got the new one and I'm like, this is still not good. Like, I still can't do it.
Yeah.
So it almost puts you in a hole because you're focusing on it because you want to get rid of that negative effect. But now it's costing you getting a good amount of positive points on the board.
Yep.
Because like one of them I had to play like 3 negatives to be able to complete it. I'm like, okay, no, that's going to screw me on the board now because I have 3 negative ones. Thankfully, I had cards that helped me counter those negatives, but that just happened to be randomly how I got the cards.
Yep.
But I thoroughly enjoy this. I would say if you're interested in Imaginary Ends, this is probably something for more of a little bit of a serious gamer versus just a party casual atmosphere because of the trinkets and there's a little bit more going on.
It's more strategy that's definitely needed to be involved to be able to do it. You're not going to win by just playing stuff randomly.
Yeah, like if it's a pretty color, it's not going to help you. So for me, I give Imaginary Ends a 4.5 just because there's a few things where it's like, ooh, I'm stuck kind of in a corner.
Okay. So we'll do a quick rundown then of each of these and kind of where the Baldwin board game score falls for these for the rankings. So in dead last is Legends of Enderas. So Legends of Enderas is not bad by any means. We each gave it a 3, which is our just okay score. 3 to 3.5 is just okay. That means it's not terrible. It doesn't break the game. It just doesn't necessarily really add anything to the game here. So Legends of Enderas falls into last place. Now, Imaginary Ends, I gave it a 5, and board gave it a 4.5, which will put Imaginary Ends at a 4.5. Doomlings.
No, Overlush. Doomlings
Sorry,
game.
Overlush. My lord. Overlush, board gave it a 5. I gave it a 4, which puts it at a 4.5. So, Imaginary Ends and Overlush are tied at a 4.5 out of 5, which is a must-play for both of these. So, if you're looking at getting any expansions for Doomlings, now mind you, there are a few new ones that have come out that we have not played, but of these 3, we would absolutely recommend you get Imaginary Ends and Overlush. And I think regardless of the new ones that came out, definitely get the Overlush expansion and boosters because it just adds to the base game in itself if you don't want any extra strategy involved. But what are the other expansions they have out now?
They have a bunch of new ones coming out. So again, these existed and these were at Gen Con this past year, so you could buy them as is, either as booster packs or as the full boxes. Brand new though, and they have some deals going on their website, so take advantage. This will be up, I think still, unless this is a Black Friday deal then. Oh no, this will be up before Black Friday, so take advantage of this. We have the Makoko Village Bolster expansion. There is Shadow Puppets, which existed already. We have one booster pack of Shadow Puppets available. Then there's Castle Glass Bolster.
Booster.
No, Bolster.
Oh, it says bolster?
Oh,
hilarious.
Yeah, so there's those. There's a bunch of, again, you can buy single packs of some of these. They do have a big box, so actually storing this a little bit better. They have a bunch of bundles. And then the Nightflower Island gold box is something I keep getting ads for all the time, which is a bunch of boosters.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so for 3 boosters, the 3 I went over, the Makoko, Glass, and Shadow Puppets, which are these size boxes, it's about $50, which is not too bad for all 3 of them together, which gives you a good amount of cards. So if you look here, like this is the Legend of Enderas, was this whole stack plus the treasures.
Yeah.
So for about $15 a box, that is a good solid price, which is on sale right now. So I definitely recommend get Doomlings, get a few of the expansions. You don't have to get all of them, but if there's a bundle on sale, take advantage.
Absolutely. Cool. So check out the link below so you can go and check that out. Again, Doomlings, thank you for sending us these 3 expansions for us to play and to review. We did warn them at a time that we do review not harshly but honestly with our scoring system. As anyone else who watches this who is a game developer, if you'd like an honest review from us, just reach out to us on Instagram at Bald and Board Games, and we will give you our honest feedback as we always do, because we're here to try and help everyone make better games, including ourselves as we're working on our own.
Yep.
But thank you for joining us here at Bald and Board Games as we gave you a review for Doomlings and our review/thoughts on the expansions Imaginary Ends, Overlush, and Legends of Enderas. I'm Bald.
On board.
And we'll see you.
Linging it up.
Winging it up!